Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CA Media Podcast, the show that allows you to come in your own unique way. I'm your host, Clyde Anderson. I have Sheena Solomon here, and she's here to come in her own unique way. The show is brought to you by Visionary Minds Public Relations and Media. If you have any media consultations or inquiries, you can contact Tammy Reese at visionarymindsny@gmail.com, and she would gladly get back in contact with you. Sheena, welcome to the show. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you for having me, Clyde.
Of course.
As you stated, my name is Sheena Solomon. During the day, I'm the executive director of the Gifford Foundation, which is located in Syracuse, New York. Um, and just in case you don't know what a foundation does, a foundation is focused on philanthropy, where we give out funds in the community, Onondaga, Madison, Oswego County, to our local nonprofits that service the community.
Wonderful. What made you, let's go back to the Gifford Foundation. What made you become the executive director of the Gifford Foundation?
So I've been at the Gifford Foundation in April. It'll be 18 years.
Oh, wow.
Um, I've been,
Congratulations.
thank you. I've been the executive director. I'm going into my seventh year, I think. I think it's 7 years. Um, and I didn't, when I first started working here, the goal wasn't to be the executive director. I just really wanted to be an advocate for people of color in our community so they can have access to the financial resources that the foundation provides. And at that time, they didn't really have access. So that was really my goal at that moment. And then as I worked my way up in the foundation, one day I was in my annual review. And the executive director said, there's not much further for you to go in the foundation. Would you want to have my job as the executive director? And I said, why not? Like, why wouldn't that be a goal? Like, why couldn't I do it? And, at that moment, he said to me, well, you know why? And I said, well, let's prove society wrong because Black women who run foundations in America is less than 2% of the population of those who run foundations. And then he also felt as though they would feel as though I would need a master's degree. I have a bachelor's degree, but he didn't have a master's degree. So why do I need a master's degree? So I need a master's degree because I'm a Black woman. Well, let's change that status,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Why does it have to be like that? So, him and I worked together. I had already had the knowledge. I had already was living the vision and the mission of the organization because I had already been here for almost 12 years, when I was hired. So, um, and then it ended up being between me and another, staff person here, and then the board ended up selecting me.
Congratulations for 8 years and your role, correct? So, since you've been taking the role of the executive director, what additions or changes have you made to the Gifford Foundation as the board executive director?
So, what I've done is I've made the foundation a little bit more lean on the administrative side so that we can have more money on the grant making side and give out more money in the community. I'm also very intentional about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Who we get our food from, who comes and paints the office, who provides us with services is really important to me. What my staff looks like is really important to me as well. So those type of things, making sure that my team has a connection to the community and make sure we're what I call outside, right? Not just sitting in our offices, pushing paperwork and talking to people on the phone, but actually going out, visiting people and having real conversations with people because that's the only way that we can actually do effective grant making is if we actually know what the community needs. And if we're detached from the community, well, then there's no way for us to know what the community needs, right?
Correct. So currently in Syracuse, New York, what do you think the community needs, or what do you think the Gifford Foundation thinks the community needs as of right now?
So the community needs are high. Housing is a huge issue in our community. Daycare is an issue. Transportation is an issue because we don't have the mass population for mass transit, right?
Right.
So transportation is definitely an issue. Um, Racism is still an issue here. Like I know that we're up north and they do it more behind closed doors than they do it in your face
Mm-hmm.
down south,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
But it's still an issue here, and you can see that through leadership and opportunities and things like that, where you don't, I sit at tables where people don't look like me on a regular basis and do my best to change that, right? To make sure that people of color are at decision-making tables. So that's an issue. Um, what we do have here is affordability,
Correct.
but I don't know if you know about the Micron coming here and
Very little.
building. Okay, so Micron is they what do they make? They make like memory boards. So all the things that we use in all of our technology, our laptops, our phones, computers, all of that stuff, they make the memory, the chips for those things. And they're
Right.
coming here and they're building one. And they're building this fab in clay that's supposed to be so big that you can fit 40 football fields in it. 40
That's
football
insane.
fields, right? So them coming here, it's going to be the largest conductor in the United States. It's going to be right here in our own backyard. And they're trying to get our youth and the Syracuse City School District ready to work there because you can graduate from high school, work there, and start making six figures when you get out of high school because it's engineering. So that's
Right.
why the push on a STEAM school downtown has been such a big push so that we can focus on English and math and all the things that you need to be an engineer, right?
Right.
So trying to get our youth ready for that. But with that company coming here, they're estimating over the next 5 years that our population is going to increase by 100,000 people. And our infrastructure is not built for that, right?
Right.
Like you are already waiting in the emergency room for 3 or 4 hours, right? You
Yep.
already can't get a dentist appointment, like those type of things. So it's really going to put pressure on our infrastructure and services in our community. So trying to figure out how to prepare for that is really a part of the need. And then how to prepare our community for things like I-81. So
Yep.
I-81 is coming down, right?
Yeah, I heard that they was fixing it and then they were gonna tear it back down. I don't know exactly all the details, but yeah, I do recall like seeing they doing the I-81 project and they really trying to rip this
Yes. So,
the bridge down. Yeah.
over 50 years ago, when they built I-81, they tore down the 15th Ward, which was a vibrant Black community with businesses and all of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they tore that down, and Syracuse is not special to that type of thing because it's happened across the country where they've taken highways and run them through Black communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what they're trying to do is pay homage to that, right? Trying to correct some of the wrong that took place over 50 years ago. And they're going to create a grid and like makes a special intention about bringing some of the 15th Ward back to the community when they take I-81 down. Because that viaduct, I don't know how many times you use it, but it's dangerous. It has
Mm-hmm.
no shoulder on it. The bridge looks crazy underneath, and it's poisoning all the people who live right next
Correct.
to
Right there at the
it.
Pioneer Homes, especially if
Yes,
you take 81 to merge it to 690. It's yeah, it's crazy.
it's
Like
pretty
I've when
crazy,
I
you know?
was in Syracuse, it was very, very dangerous driving and trying to properly merge, not knowing if you see a car will blindside you. Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
But
So
do you think they their intentions are like pure in reference to bringing back the 15 War and bringing back those black communities that they lost 50 years ago?
I think that the local intention is pure, but the state, I don't know
Business
because
wise, yeah. Mm-hmm.
right. It's not a local project. Like it's affecting us locally,
Correct.
but really it's the state's project.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep.
So
And the Department of Transportation as well.
yes, yes, which is a state entity, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't know how well their intentions are. I think that they're focused on one, not causing harm by taking it down because of all the dust and the materials and all of that stuff that enters the air once they do all those things, So trying to keep people safe, trying to keep it cost effective, and trying to make sure that the highway is safe once they
Correct.
build it. But whether they care about whether you're a WMBE contractor or not, it's supposed to be in the contract, but the percentage people are complaining about because the percentage is really low. The WMBE requirement. And WMBE, quite frankly, when you think about it, is kind of a joke because the people that really benefit from it are not people of color, it's white women.
Exactly. Correct.
So I guess it's to be seen. They've been talking about I-81 for over 10 years. And now that I see that they're working on it, I'm thinking that I might live to see the results.
Yeah, I also I think if I was reading, I think the original design was to try to make it a tunnel, but now I think the best option is to make it an expressway.
So it's going to be like a grid. So the highway is going to, I don't know if you've ever taken a trip and the highway kind of stops a little bit and goes through a city and then you get back on a highway.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to
Yeah.
be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be like that. The tunnel was a terrible idea, Clyde. And the first responders said, this is a bad idea. Because
Yeah.
what happens in the tunnel, they're like, it is so hard to get to the people in the tunnel.
Exactly.
Every time I drive to New York City, I'm scared to death going through that tunnel.
The Holland or the Lincoln. And now they got this congestion pricing where
Listen, it's zero room for error, Clyde.
correct. You're right. Like how are they gonna get someone like to upstate hospital?
Right. How? How they
Yeah.
gonna do that? I'm like, mm-mm. I feel like when I drive through that tunnel, it's the only time I use two hands.
Mm-hmm. You have to. Like you can't cross over to the other lane and like you gotta drive like 35 miles per hour, you know. And then on top of that, you got people stopping and going and not knowing
Right.
when yeah, it's crazy. Like especially coming back from upstate, going through the Holland on Lincoln. It's insane. And then trying to merge into have to get out, depending on if it's a, I think the Holland Tunnel you get out is you're like Lower Manhattan. Now it's like, which way do you go to Brooklyn?
Right.
Or
Right.
it's insane, and people don't know how
It
to
is.
drive out there.
Oh, and they drive real crazy out there. They're real aggressive.
Yeah, I know. I know. I live
Give
here
me a
now.
minute. I need a minute. I need to figure out where I'm going.
Yeah, my best friend does not like driving in New York City, so I'm like, before we go to the Holland Tunnel, we switch seats and like I'll drive in because like she's not paranoid, but she
It's
does
a
not like
lot
to drive in.
between the thousands and kabillions of people, plus the traffic, plus bikes, plus people walking.
Hmm.
It's a lot. It's a little too much stimulation for my brain.
Correct. So back to like the I-81, like the housing there, what's it called, Syracuse housing? What do you think they're gonna do with that? I think they're supposed to be tearing it down and rebuilding,
They
because
are
those are like
tearing
the
it
first
down.
housing in New York State. So like you're tearing down like technically historical landmark if you think about it.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, housing originally wasn't built for us in the first place. It was built for veterans.
Hmm.
Um, but then we had white sprawl, and then that's where the black people went into affordable housing. But they are tearing it down. They're talking about rebuilding it. It's pretty much Project Blueprint 15 is what it's called, is rebuilding it. And it's not going to take up as much space as it takes up right now because they plan on going vertical with it. So they're going to
Hmm.
have more housing. It's going to be more diversity when it comes to income. And then they're
Correct.
also planning on developing like a youth center that has a Y in it and a pre-K and all types of services and things like that that's going to wrap around that housing area. So
I think it's a good look. I think for me, if I'm listening to it, it's a good look, you know. It gets people to like get out of those houses that's been there for 50 years. Like no offense, like who wouldn't want to pay $50 rent, right? But then again, you're trying to build, you know, for the future, and like a part of that is tearing down what's in the past and
yeah.
like restructuring to what the future may need. You look like you want to say
Well, I'm
something.
just saying, just to be honest, it's not the best housing option.
Correct.
Right? We don't have a lot of housing options as it is. And so this is giving the people who live there the choice of
Hmm.
saying, we're going to give you the money to resettle someplace else, and you have the option to come back after the space is built. So if you always wanted to leave and move to Atlanta or go be with your cousins in the Carolinas, you have the opportunity to do that.
Correct. But I think people are uh afraid to move, or I think it's not the failure, it's the not knowing the unknown. You know what I'm saying? Like I
You
think
can
with
become
me,
comfortable, right?
yeah. So with me, I feel like do I want to move like to Georgia, or do I want to move to California and not know what's going to happen? Like I wouldn't mind, but a part of me is scared of the unknown. But you know, sometimes you got to take that risk, and 100% of the time, of the chances you don't take, you don't know, you lose because you never took that chance to explore what's out there for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, no matter where you live, there's going to be benefits,
Correct.
and there's going to be some cons.
Challenges. Hmm.
Right. There's going to be challenges. So, Syracuse is an affordable space. It does have diversity. We could use more of that. Um, but it is an affordable place to live. The crime isn't as bad as other places, right?
Right.
And it can be walkable. You don't have to necessarily have a car here.
Exactly.
You can still figure
It's a
out how to get
choice.
around. Right. It's a
Yeah.
choice. So, but and then there's the snow, right? Like I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's been snowing for 40 days and 40 nights.
He did tell Noah to get them ready, and nobody want to listen besides Noah's family.
Listen, I'm listening, okay? What do I got to do? Because if the snow gets too high, I can't even come outside. I'm only 5 feet tall. Like,
Exactly. Correct.
goodness gracious, I'm be lost outside in the snow. But yeah, I feel like it's been snowing like crazy here. But all we do is move the snow out the way and we keep it moving.
Exactly.
Not like what's happening in LA right now. It's on fire.
Yeah. Is it up in? It's burning hot.
It's like,
It's
oh my, like
insane.
it's burning down whole communities. Whole
Correct.
communities, and they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time getting it under control because they're having 100 miles per hour winds. Could you imagine 100 miles per hour winds and fire? No.
Nah, I'm good. Mm-mm. Nah, I don't know what to do. I'm like, yo, take me now, Jesus. Like, like for real.
The air
Forgive me for all
quality is
my
gonna take
sins.
you.
Like, I want to make it to heaven, but I don't want to die in fire and no
Not
one not
this
be
way.
not this or this is not the way I want to go out, Lord. Like, please forgive me.
Right.
Like, like for real. So, and I'm glad that the I guess the United States I was reading that Joe Biden and I guess the United States gonna pay for the first 180 days of what's going on in California to make sure that they're situated, which is good, you know, to support, you know, California during this time because you're losing a lot of communities with that fire. And then there are people out there actually starting more fires to continue this. It's like I was watching on TikTok, or not TikTok, but Instagram, and like there are community people that's like taking down people that's actually starting these fires. I'm like, this is insane. Like, why? You know? I think
Yeah.
California is usually the only state that I know that like have like wildfires like this on a regular.
Wildfires, mudslides,
Hmm.
a little too much for me.
Hmm.
All we can do is pray for the people that are there, right?
Correct. That's all we can do, you know, and hope for the best. But so go back into the Gifford Foundation. What are some of the events that y'all participated in or sponsored within the last year that you think that has helped your foundation? I know backtracking a
Hmm.
little bit.
So you're asking about events that we've sponsored of other people's events or things that we do on our own.
Other people events.
So other people's events. So um last year was a hell of a year. I felt like I was I felt like I was on tour a little bit because I was asked to chair two galas, and I feel like you can't chair a gala and not sponsor it, right?
Correct.
Give
Make
some
it make
money
sense.
toward it, right? So
Correct.
I was co-chair with Mayor Ben Walsh last year for the Vera House Gala,
Okay.
and they fight against domestic violence. So providing financial resources to them benefits the community in obvious ways regarding ending domestic violence. And it's unfortunate that we need an organization like that, but we do, right?
Correct.
Um, the other gala that I chaired last year was Crouse Health Foundation.
Okay.
And Crouse Health Foundation is very different than, say, the Gifford Foundation because they raise money specifically for Crouse Hospital. We have money for community. That's the
Correct.
difference between the two. And they raised over $400,000, which is going to help Crouse like buy machinery and things like that to better the hospital for their staff and for their patients.
Correct.
So those are two examples. Another thing that we love to sponsor is the charity review. I don't know if you've ever attended the charity review.
I'm not.
It
No.
happens at the On Center in collaboration with the car show.
Oh wow.
So when you go to that and you donate to that, they sponsor like you're supporting like 12 nonprofits, where the whatever money they make, they donate some of those funds to 12 different nonprofits in the community. So that's a really great way to get a good bang for our buck. Other organizations we support is like On Point for College that helps our
Heard of them? The
that
youth.
helps our youth get to college. The American Red Cross that helps people when disasters hit. And then we also do
Like
a
like
lot,
like the one in California, for example.
yes, like the
Yeah.
one in California, for example. And then we do a lot of grassroots too, where everyday people who live in the city of Syracuse can come to the foundation with an idea and we help them work through the idea. They submit a simple application and we'll give them up to $5,000 to implement their idea in community. And that has resulted in block parties. It resulted in workshops on how to get your emergency contact information in order. How many of us are not ready when something happens to a family member?
Correct.
Right? Nobody
Mm-hmm.
knows what a paperwork is. Did that person have insurance? I don't know the bank account information. Like, that
It's a
you don't
lot.
even get time to grieve because you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to figure stuff out, you know?
Exactly.
So if you're prepared and everything is in one place and nobody wants to talk about that, but it's a part of life, right?
Of
It's
course.
guaranteed, it's inevitable that it's going to happen eventually, right? So being prepared for that. We've had youth through some youth mental health classes. We've had Black men wellness classes. We've also supported a fatherhood program in the community that's run by Peace Incorporated. So
Okay.
things that really can help people increase their quality of life, but also people being a part of their own rescue because nobody's coming to rescue us.
No,
Like,
of course
gonna
not,
leave us on the
unfortunately.
roof. They're gonna leave us on the roof. We gotta
Correct.
figure it out. We can't wait for
Exactly.
somebody to come and rescue us. We know what we need, but half of the time we don't have the resources to implement.
Because we're not preparing ourselves, for that. I think, which I'm like so grateful for. Like I go to a church where, they talk about, 45 to life. Yo, is your stuff in order? Do you have your pre-needs for your burial account ready? Do you have your what's it called? When you die, you have like certain beneficiaries,
Yes.
you need all that to be situated so that if you want
Right.
to have your last will and testament to go as such, it's right there. You know, nobody can say, we doing it this way, we want this money to go this way, or oh, let's cremate the body and we get all the money. Nah. Like nobody want I don't want that to be happening to me. So like I think it's very important for everybody to
Yeah.
have
So you
like
got to write that down so that your family knows what
exactly.
your last wishes are, right? And then
Correct.
also like, who's your health proxy?
Hmm.
Because if you're in the hospital, something happens to you and you can't speak for yourself, who's going to do that? You know, I've had those types of conversations with my children. My children are adults. Um, and they're like, well, if something happened to you, like, what are we supposed to do, mom? And I'm like, well, one of you need to be my health proxy. Because hopefully my mother will not have to bury me, right?
Correct.
So hopefully she will go before me because nobody wants to bury their child.
Nah,
So
of
one
course
of you
not.
guys need to be that. And my
Or vice
youngest,
versa. You don't want to go and bury your children, you
that,
know?
oh no, don't want to
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
that. Just put
Yeah.
me in a padded room, Clyde.
Nah, I can't do that. I gotta make sure you're good. Even as my friend, I gotta make sure you're good. Like I can't just let her out to dry. Let's oh, no, let's
No
put her on for
way.
Island. Tag John Doe, Jane Doe. Nah, we don't need that.
Right. None of that. None of that.
Yeah,
That
so
part. Exactly.
yeah, so mm-mm.
Yeah. So those types of things are important. So these are things that community is like, we need to know more about this, or we need to understand finances better, or how do you invest? You know, the things that they don't necessarily teach us in
In
school.
school.
They're not teaching our
Exactly.
kids. You know, when you went to school, was there home ec?
Yeah, I went to Liverpool.
So you went to Liverpool
Well,
and there was
I had
some,
my last year because I transferred from Brooklyn to Liverpool. I had a home ec course, literally.
but they don't have home ec no more.
Oh, that's crazy. That
They
was
don't
in
have like wood
2008.
shop no more. They don't teach them how to sew no more. Like they had all that stuff when I was in school.
Hmm.
And I'm like, my kids, they ain't know how to boil water.
Don't they have to take like a science course where they have to do labs? They don't do labs no more in science in
They
high
do
school.
like science labs, as in like science chemicals and stuff like that, but not like how to live, like how to take care of yourself.
Correct.
When your parents is like, Clyde, you need to go get your own apartment. We can't take care of you no more. You don't know how to balance a checkbook. You don't know how to cook. You don't know how to do laundry, like the stuff that to take care of yourself,
Hmm.
you know? So looking at stuff like that.
Wow. Yeah. I think so. I know. Was it yesterday or earlier today? Mayor Eric Adams down here. I don't like him, but I think he's going to implement a financial literacy course for high schoolers. So by 2030, he said, this made the news today because he had to do the State of the Union address. By 2030, all New York City's students in high school knows how to like have like better financial literacy. So I'm guessing they're going to implement a course into the curriculum in high school so that they can be prepared for the adult life.
Right. So
Hmm.
where are you, Clyde?
I'm in Brooklyn.
You're in Brooklyn.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
home.
okay.
I was up. I was upstate for a while. I went to school. I went to SUNY Oswego for my bachelor's. I also went to OCC previously for my associates. So I'm down here working, transferred my job
Okay.
via promotion. So um, I've been
That's
down here for eight
awesome.
months. Yeah,
I didn't know you
they,
left and went to
yeah.
Brooklyn.
I know the last time I saw you was at End Zone. Like seriously, it was like I think last
It
year.
was. Yes. No, I actually I don't think that that's true. I think it was exclusives.
Maybe so, maybe so. Yeah, yeah, maybe so. Yeah,
Maybe so.
yeah, yeah. But I know for certain I did see you at End Zones at the beginning of the year. I think. Yeah, yep.
Really?
Yeah, we took a picture together. I got it in my phone somewhere. I'll send
Okay.
it to you. Like for real. I was like, yeah, I got the photo. I'm thinking about this yesterday. And I'm thinking about it's probably March, but March was so busy, but I just didn't look. But I know it's in my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, because I came to the bar with Rondell. You know Rondell Parker. His
Yeah.
wife is
Mhm.
Dr. Parker,
Yes,
Tatiana.
Dr.
Yeah,
Tatiana Parker.
yeah. So yeah, that's why I said the last time I could remember was it was like end zone. But yeah, I've been down here for 8 months. It's great. Uh, I don't like the congestion pricing that they doing now for us New York City drivers. But I don't
Mhm.
drive really anywhere. I commute to work, so
How are you feeling about the gentrification that's happening in Brooklyn?
I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. Like I'm
Okay.
not really too worried about it. It was happening right before I left in 2008, 2007. So I'm not affected as long as I see my people. But I like diversity too. So I'm okay seeing other races. So yeah, it's fine. I'm not bothered. You know, it'll be a little bit weird if I only see a bunch of my African American people and I don't see like different races or genders of people in my community. So
Yeah. I go to Brooklyn occasionally because
you
my
really?
yeah, because my best friend's mother lives there. She lives in Red Hook. So sometimes we need to go down there and pick her up. Sometimes we need to go down there and see her. Sometimes we need to bring her back. We actually just brought her back not too long ago and made it like a 1 day trip. Drove down there at like 7 o'clock in the morning, had her home by 11. I was home before 4.
Oh wow, 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 wow.
But I can't go to Brooklyn and not go to the bodega.
Oh yeah, of course not, man.
Gotta go to the bodega, gotta get something to eat, gotta see what kind of Kool-Aid packets they got.
Oh, I with me, I got to go to Footprints. I love me some Caribbean food. Have you
It's
ever been
called
to Footprints?
Footprints.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to check it out next time I come to Brooklyn.
There's several locations. There's knowingly I know like three locations. One in Bed-Stuy. There's the main one in Flatbush, and then there's one in Coney Island. I'll
Okay,
send you like the information of like the locations. Yeah, it's
that's
really
what's
good.
up.
It's
Thank
really,
you.
really, really good. Like you'll like it.
Okay,
So there's rapid fire questions I would like to ask you. Of anything that comes to my mind, you just give me your first response.
I'm scared.
You scared? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. I would never ask nothing that's outlandish or crazy.
I
That's
mean, you said anything that comes to your mind,
oh,
so
I did say
oh,
that. Yes, I did. But I'm
you
very like
did, you did.
very in my podcast. It could we can talk about any and everything, but I'll keep it PG.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I'll keep it PG. All
And
right,
turn it into a
so
completely different show.
nah, that would be a whole different show that if we were to ever do that. Um, 60 seconds. Whatever question comes to my mind, give me your first response. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Your favorite food,
Pizza.
your favorite pop soda.
It has to be ginger ale.
Okay. Favorite place to travel.
Baltimore.
Favorite restaurant in Syracuse.
The Preserve.
Your favorite bar in Syracuse.
It has to be the Lodge.
Okay. Uh, what's your favorite vehicle that you ever purchased?
Grand Jeep Cherokee Limited, honey.
Okay. Your favorite location to travel outside the United States.
I've never been outside the United States
You
yet.
don't have no passport?
No.
Oh my God. Uh, okay. What's your favorite alcoholic drink?
Malibu.
And what's your vision for yourself for the next 10 years?
My vision for myself is to be the best person that I can be and to leave the world a little bit better than I found it.
Thank you, Sheena. Truly, truly, truly appreciate you for joining the podcast. Would you like to leave your socials or information about the Gifford Foundation?
Sure. The Gifford Foundation does have a website, www.giffordfoundation, all spelled out like that, .org. If people want to contact me, they can find my information on the website. We do have a Facebook page. We do have Instagram. I'm also on Instagram under Solo Dimple One, I think.
Oh, I get it. Yes, right there. Yes.
You want to follow me on Instagram. I don't do a lot of work on Instagram. It's all social.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you for joining the podcast. I would love to have you on again.
Thank
Uh,
you. This
it's
has
a
been fun and it's nice to
yo,
see you.
it's a pleasure. It's my honor. It's a great talking to you on here and doing this podcast. Again, Sheena Solomon, the executive director of the Gifford Foundation. You can reach her on the Gifford Foundation on its website. Uh, I don't know. You said you already said your personal social, so that's good. My name is Clyde Anderson. This is the CA Media Podcast, a show that allows you to come your own unique way. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast, you can contact me at ClydeAndersonMedia.com, which is the website for the brand, or you can email me at CAMediaPodcast@gmail.com, or you can follow the show on Twitter, X, or Instagram or Facebook. It's a pleasure again, Sheena. You take care. God bless.
Thank you. You do the same.
You have a blessed weekend.
Thank you. Be safe.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.